Welcome to part 2 of WRR 164, our special episode covering the Women's Rugby Paris 2024 Olympics. If you missed part 1, go check it out on Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, or on our website at yscrugby.com or any social media platform. Here are the final rankings for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Of course, New Zealand winning gold, Canada silver, USA bronze. And then you can see all the way down through 12th. The next time we'll see these teams is the HSBC Sevens Series Circuit. Generally starts in December or sometimes January, so we might get some in 2024 if we're lucky, but more than likely, this will start again in 2025. We expect World Rugby to release those locations and dates very soon. With over 500,000 attendees, that's 500,000 folks, the Rugby Olympics event has become the most attended in the history of both the HSBC Sevens and the Olympics, really any rugby event in the world. So we want to welcome all the new fans to the sport. It's the best sport in the world. For the first time ever, the Paris 2024 Olympics had a 50-50 split along gender lines, meaning that there are just as many women as men. And I'll state that the women are winning most of the medals, and in particular in some countries, they're the only ones that are winning medals. So with that, there's new eyeballs on women's sport, and in particular women's rugby. But this is after the women's rugby concluded. We started to see a lot of transphobic rhetoric on social media. And I want to quote Dr. Cherie Brown on this fantastic article from Feminist Sports Lab. When an athlete is singled out for speculation about whether or not she is a woman, especially in the context of sex testing remaining a diplomatic nude parade under the guise of scientism and medico-legal language, our first duty of care should be towards her as a human. Such policies, rather than making sport safer, place girls, women, and gender non-conforming people at risk. And it really feels like this is the end game for the anti-trans hysteria group, that all female greatness in athletics will be diminished, challenged, and asterisked. So when you do something wonderful, it's not as good as a man, and you're too good to be a woman, so you must be a man. You must be tested. You must prove biologically that you're a woman. You must prove by taking your clothes off. This is a horrible slippery slope for our sport, and we must stand up against it. Another piece that is hurting all sports, and in particular women's rugby and women's sports, is the removal of social media clips. So you clip something on the TV that you think is awesome, or you borrow it from a broadcaster. I mean, you steal it. You're not borrowing it. You steal it from a broadcaster and post it with the idea of growing the sport. You want to grow women's rugby, and we want more eyeballs on it. So you're doing your part. And these broadcasters, along with the rugby unions and other sporting unions, are taking these down. And these clips have got to be freed. Free the clips. Sam Love Rugby has dug into the data, and let me tell you, it is sexy. Over the past 5 years, Google searches have skyrocketed at the onset of the Olympic Sevens. They jumped for the men's final, and then you can see jumping again for the women's final. Sam has a few other clips on her social media, but I wanted to also point out this one, seeing the 5-year interest in rugby-related searches. What is rugby? How to play rugby? How can I find a club, and how can I start playing? Has absolutely tripled, quadrupled because of the Olympics. This is the time. Make sure your website for your club is updated, your social media is updated. You've got a pinned post with your practice times. Even if you're not starting till the spring, pin something and then post it and share it again. Let's get all these new fans playing rugby. Ali of Scrum Queens takes a look at after Paris. What do we do next? We, of course, know there's some 15s rugby coming up with a couple warm-ups ahead of the WXV, and then we'll also have HSBC Sevens coming. But before all of that, what can World Rugby do to monetize this sport? We know they're losing money over the Sevens, so Ali takes a look at that among a lot of other things. Go and give them a follow if you're not, and check out the article. That does it for us. Of course, there's always more news on our website at yscrugby.com. Never miss an episode of Women's Rugby Rundown by subscribing on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, all of our social media platforms.